Hello! Little update. Hope you got your coffee. Or tea. Tea's good too. Yeah, this is my little update on my robe à l'anglaise that I did from the IKEA bedsheet with the flower pattern. And I still think everyone who ever made a historical costume recreation from this particular bedsheet should get together and everyone should wear theirs and everyone takes a picture. Could be like a convention type of thing. It just sounded like a really good idea in my head, but then I'm kind of tired and then most things sound like a really good idea. So yeah, I finished it and I didn't record it, and I'm sorry in retrospect because I thought this was going to be a lot more of trial and error, and I thought, if I don't know what I'm doing, how can I teach anyone how to do this? It's a weird, ridiculous notion. In the end, it just worked out, and that wouldn't be a very good lesson to take from such a video when I just work by trial and error and just try things out, and in the end it just works out. And then the only lesson to take from this is something like, well, I guess I'm just really good, you know. There's not something you can learn or teach. It just seems like you're really full of yourself. Well, I'm a genius. Try to be one yourself, then you can do this too. Yeah, so if I can't really properly explain to anyone how something works, I'm just not going to do the video, which is a bit sad. Yeah, so it's finished and I actually have two opportunities of wearing this dress. The first one is a singing thing. I have it on Friday and I'm not nervous yet, which is a bit concerning. And it works. It's like era appropriate. We're singing La ci darem la mano from the Nozze di Figaro. You can check it out on YouTube. It's a really, really lovely song. It's adorable. I love it. So Mozart opera. I'm back there again. I usually sing Mozart. I don't know. I love his stuff. It's so cheesy. Everybody loves Mozart, but yeah. It's just really pleasant to sing. I don't know. I like how the melody flows. Anyways, my duet partner is my singing teacher himself, so no pressure. And Nozze di Figaro is that kind of time where you would have worn a robe à l'anglaise depending on where you lived, so it really fits. So I wanted to do the experiment. Can I wear the entire thing with the corset and the bustle pad and everything? And I snuck in the corset underneath the pullover and I was wearing it the entire time. It wasn't even closed all the way. And still, afterwards, my singing teacher was like, wow, you haven't sung this badly in years. What's wrong? So yeah, no hiding from your singing teacher. And yeah, it just wasn't really good. I can't wear the corset underneath while I'm singing because you just can't breathe in properly. Everyone out there who's like, oh, you can do everything in a corset that you can do without a corset. It's just not true. I'm sorry. You need air to sing. That's really important. And most importantly, you can breathe. I mean, you kind of breathe into your cleavage in case you have one. And that's the wrong way to breathe when you're trying to sing opera, really. You need support from your abdomen and all the muscles in there, and once you kind of pinch them together, it doesn't matter that you can still work the muscles, you're working them the wrong way and then you can't sing anymore. It's just a fact. So no corset, no bustle pad, because the bustle pad is way too heavy, kind of pinches too. And I'm just going to wear the underskirt and the dress on top, and that's going to be it. And then I have another opportunity of wearing this dress, which is a festival type of thing we have in town, and we have this really lovely sort of Georgian era I always mix those up, Georgian times palace sounds so grandiose, but it's really just, it's a really tiny palace, but it's really cute. And we have this festival where we kind of celebrate our cultural things that we have in town, like the castle and the palace and the really old church that we have. So that palace is the same time roughly as my dress, and my father happens to be in some kind of public initiative in order to save the palace because it's in a very, very bad state, in a state of disrepair actually, like the roof needs to be renewed and everything. And there's this initiative from the public, and they have a little stand there. I don't know what they're going to sell, I guess like beer and sausages or something. There's cultural events, and you can buy food, so lots of tourists come. There's theatre productions, there's, I think the mayor comes and says something and some other important folks, and then there's also fireworks and lots of stuff. Big celebration. And my father actually asked me whether I have a period costume that I can wear, so I'm more of a gimmick in this situation. I'm just standing around in full attire and I look ancient, and I guess I hand out food or whatever, so yeah. It's a gimmick, and the tourists love this sort of thing. And I can do my hair and stuff and talk to people about my dress. Is going to be awesome. So yeah, then I can wear the full thing. So that's going to be really great. I'm going to incorporate pictures in case there are any from the singing thing, in case somebody is nice enough to take pictures, and from the festival thing. And then you can see me wearing my dress, basically. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on the entire thing. I've got the shift, the stays, underskirt, bustle pad, and the dress itself. And as soon as I can convince my lovely little cat, there she is, to get off the underskirt, I can start putting it on. And then you can see what I'm going to wear. Alright, this is the shift, with an adjustable, not era appropriate neckline, but I just like this, with the lace and the ribbon that goes through it. I really dig that sort of thing. Don't know why. It looks so girly. Yeah, so this is the entire thing. It goes down to my shins, approximately. Yeah, and I made it with darts down here. I had a really good webpage that explained how to do these, and I wanted to share it. And I had to delete all my stuff from my computer, and I wiped the entire thing and all the links are gone, so I will have to see if I can find them again. The next thing that happens is the stays. This one has mostly non-steel in it, aside from the eyelets. And putting this on myself is really, really difficult. So what I do is take it the wrong way around. So I put it on like this, and then I lace it myself because I don't have anyone to do that for me, and it takes ages. Alright, now we've got a bit more light. So now what I do is I turn this around and then readjust the shift, and then I try to get into the arm things. This would work really a lot better if I had someone to help, but I don't. My sister isn't there. Even if she was, I don't know how much help she'd be. Yeah. So yeah, after I made this thing, I thought maybe I should have made one that closes in the front. I don't think that's really historically accurate, but it's way more practical. So, now what's important, I need to hide this thing here, because if you see that underneath the dress, it looks really weird for some reason. So, I pull all the folds here so that they're in the back, because I don't really need that here. So, and then I take this, my little knot here, I can open that now. If I manage to. Yeah. And now I just pull this closed. Can you still hear me? I hope so. Woo! Okay, what's really important, you need to adjust these bits here while you're pulling close. I'm going to pull those around and close them here so I can get out more easily afterwards. And my cat really thinks I'm just doing this to entertain her. So, yeah. Man, crazy cleavage veins, what's going on? And because this isn't quite as stable as I'd want it, I'm going to cheat a little. I don't have one out of wood. Wood would be appropriate. I'm going to use this ruler and just put it in here, because this part in the front doesn't really support all the pulling as well as I wish it would. So, now I'm in the corset, and I look like a wench of some sort. You know the word wench you usually apply to busty ladies with corsets for some reason. This is my personal favorite shape of bustle pad because you can adjust it really well. It's so heavy because I stuffed it with old bits of cloth and leftover bits of fabric and stuff, so I can't really breathe too well once I tie this here. I'm making the tie somewhat to the side, because if all the ties are in the front here, then it looks kind of knobbly, and that's not the effect you want. So, with the bustle pad, I like how it goes around here, so you get a bit of volume at the sides. Next thing is the underskirt. I actually starched this so that it stands out a bit and it rustles nicely and it's kind of stiff. This is one of those that you tie in the front and the back. I have to say I really like this shape. It's really simple to make. You need about 1.5 bed covers for this. And you can adjust it to pretty much every shape of bustle, so that is really good. So you can pull it over your head, or you can just kind of step into this. The heavier bit goes in the back, and again I made this so I can adjust it on the side because you don't want any of the ribbons to stick out. Then the front, and the front needs to be tied very tight because otherwise it shows underneath the overdress, I noticed. You tie it in the back, and if you're like me, you can kind of hide this underneath because you can see it through the dress sometimes when the tie is really big. So I think this is really nice. You know, I like how this moves. I'm sorry about the loud floor, I can't do anything about that. So far so good. Now comes the actual dress. It's got hooks in the front, it's an open front gown. You just kind of pull this over like a jacket. And there it shows when you don't have someone like a very helpful friend, or actually a lady's maid or something would be really convenient now. You've got to pull this seam in the back all the way down, otherwise it doesn't sit properly. Then you pull it close and hook it in the front, which takes a while. I used many hooks because I wanted this thing to look very even. And that can get kind of difficult, and I starched this overdress too so that the skirt sticks out a bit more and the folds stay where they're supposed to be. And then I've got to pull it down, and that's pretty much it. Ha! Yeah, so this is the entire dress. I think it looks really neat with the bustle pad. And it's swooshes. I like that. Yeah, so this is the entire dress that I'm going to wear with hair and stuff at the festival. I have this really nice cameo from my mother. It was my grandmother's, but she left, and she left it here. So now it's mine because my mom doesn't like it. I think this looks really good with the dress. The only issue I have with this dress is I constantly have to pull it down because whenever I move my arms, the corset sleeves kind of move up and the entire dress goes with. I don't know what I did wrong, it's just something that happens. Maybe it's because you've got so many layers underneath and I'm not really used to that. But nothing's showing here. I really like that. That was very important. So, that's the dress. And it looks really nice. Haha. Alright, once again, this time for the singing thing, just the shift underneath, then the skirt. One problem is, without the bustle, the skirt kind of slopes down a little. Just doesn't know where the waist is supposed to be, I guess. And I don't have much of a waistline, so the poor skirt doesn't know where it's supposed to be. And again, tie it here. Can't do it quite as tight, or maybe a bit tighter than that. So I'm trying to tie it as high as possible because it's going to just slide down my body anyway. So not much of a difference. Tie it in the back. Look, this is an entirely different look all of a sudden because the period silhouette is just gone. But it's way easier to put this thing on. Just have to make sure that the lace isn't showing, which is more difficult without the corset. The corset kind of keeps the shift in place. And I'm actually considering not wearing the shift underneath, but just a white shirt or something. Then I won't have as many problems with the lace sticking out. Alright, so now this is the version. See, that's already showing. And over here. So, as you can see, I can pull it down way more easily, but I'm lacking a butt, so that's a bit of a problem. This is the version I'm going to be wearing while I'm singing. It still looks okay, but you can tell it's not the correct silhouette. At least I can tell. I don't think anyone in the audience will notice. But this is the dress without the undergarments. It works, but it's... I can sing, that's the most important bit. And it still looks nice. Love it. Alright, look what happens. There, it's sticking out. Here, you can see the hem of the underskirt. I will need safety pins for that. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate.